evening, we bring you the latest in the world of sports. My name is Boom Gonzalez.
And we give you the conversations you want to hear from your favorite icons and athletes. I am Lexi Rodriguez. You can watch the game live in our past episodes on demand on the Pilipinas Live app for just 149 pesos a month, available for download on Google Play or the App Store.
It is Friday, so buckle up, sports fans, and let's get in the game. Hello, Lexi.
Hello.
33 years it took Gilas Pilipinas, over 3 decades before returning to the finals in the Asian Games, and now it's finally happening. Now, joining us to preview the historic run to the gold medal match is Gilas veteran and our friend and basketball analyst, Isaac Go. Isaac, wow. First of all, you know, the quarterfinal win where we kind of escaped was a big contrast to that semifinal win, and that was what, like a day after. I mean, how do you deal with, you know, something like that as a viewer and as a former Gilas member?
And that's what's hard about these tournaments, is because there's no time to rest, there's no time to celebrate or mourn for a loss. It's next game up, next game, and that's what just shows the professionalism of these players and the experience that they're able to quickly adjust, quickly adapt. And it's also a credit to the coaching staff that they're working hard. They're working late hours to try to get the game plan set for that next game.
Right, and you mentioned that they have to quickly adapt to those quick turnabouts and whatnot. So, as Coach Tab, he shared that he kind of lost hope in the first half of the basketball.
Coach Tim, you mean?
Coach Tim,
Right,
sorry.
right.
But how was this thing? How did they turn around this kind of?
I think it's best described by the never say die attitude of the Barangay Ginebra players, especially.
There's a lot of them are there.
There's a lot of them are there, but that's where you show that sometimes if you always have to believe in yourself. And I think that's what Brownlee showed, and when he took that charge, is that I believe we can win this. And once, it just takes one guy, and then once you have that one, everyone soon it snowballs, and everyone just gets on that train. And as they always say, either you get out of the way or you join the bus. And everyone rode the Justin Brownlee bus.
Okay, but as a viewer, did you at one point, whether it was at the 7-minute mark, 3-minute mark, 2-minute mark, did you, as a fan, say, oh no, this is not happening? Yeah.
I think it's always that when you see a big lead, but that's the beauty of sports. That's the beauty of having these stories where you hear comeback stories, you hear the heartbreaks, the celebrations. And that's why we watch. And that's why you watch till the end, because you never know what's going to happen. 7 minutes to go, everybody could have switched off their TV and say, okay, good job. But if you chose to stay on, you saw something magical, something that we will be talking about for years and years to come, and will be cemented in the Philippine sports history books that Justin Brownlee happened.
Yeah, the only reason why I asked that, Isaac, is, you know, there was that run to cut it down to 4, right? And then they brought it back to, I think, 9 or 11, and back-to-back timeouts by Coach Tim Conan. I'm like, oh no!
And as Isaac said, everyone rode the Justin Brownlee bus. But what is actually working for him with those 33 points? What was working for him?
I think number one is the system. Is he's played with Coach Tim a lot, and we always I think there's always been slack on coaches. Example with Coach Chot bringing the talk and text guys to the national team. Coach Tab bringing the Ateneo guys to the national team. There's always that familiarity that helps. And of course, we saw with Coach Tim bring in the Barangay Ginebra boys in, and even L.A. Tenorio and the staff, Coach Richard Del Rosario and the staff. That familiarity helps and that adjusting period. So you don't have to worry about now 12 guys. You just have to worry about maybe the 3 or 4 that might be struggling. And you have another 8 guys, you have another 8 coaches there who can say, hey, we can help you get along, we can help you get going, so that it relieves less pressure on the coaches, because it provides more opportunity for the players to lead.
Great point. You experienced that, right?
Yeah.
Being part of a big core with a few players, a few new players that you just had to kind of incorporate into the team. So you're speaking from experience. This is not something that you're just, you know, blurting out. I'm validating what you're saying. The whole China matchup, almost the same team that we faced here in the Philippines, which we beat, obviously. We also had Jordan Clarkson go berserk in that game to get away from them. Were there any like differences? I know it's different territory and all of that, but in terms of the dynamic, how did we go behind 20 with almost the same team?
I think that's where you see the fatigue come into play because shots weren't falling.
With us.
Yeah,
with
the
us.
execute. And it's China's home court. So what we had when they came here and played, they now have when they're playing. They're used to the court, used to the system, the environment. And I'm pretty sure everything is set up for them to be comfortable. So
Yeah.
now you have to take them out of their groove. They probably have to all the preparations. So in that really plays a part in a team's way for playing.
Right. And, you know, there are also unsung heroes of the team with trying to get back on track a bit behind that 20-point lead of China. But then we've also have to encourage and point out Kevin Nolas and CJ Perez.
Oh, yeah.
Can you explain to us their top contributions to the team's success?
I think for Kevin, it shows a lot of, in a way that there was, of course, conversation. He was not in the lineup, and all of a sudden, he's part of the lineup. And
Right.
this game by Kevin validated the decision of the players, of him coming to play in the national team, the management choosing to play him, and it just shows the validation. But it's very rewarding to see that finally come into fruition. While CJ Perez, of course, in the World Cup, didn't get as many runs, didn't get as many playing time with that situation of a lot of players in the lineup. But now, when we show when he's given the opportunity to play, when he's given the opportunity to the lead, he can ball. Playing out there simple and become a big factor on both ends of the floor.
5 big points in that fourth quarter. Ang ganda rin ng bunot. Sabi nga ni, ang ganda rin ng bunot ni Coach Tim sa kanya. And those are the things that we sometimes forget, the coach's decisions to put these players. All right, you got to give us a preview of the finals tonight.
Ooh, Jordan versus Gilas.
What are your thoughts? Come on.
I think Jordan has had an easier route because they had the bye in the earlier round, automatic quarters. They dominated against Chinese Taipei. But as you heard Coach Tim Cone said after that first round defeat, if we get them, we're gonna win.
What would we need to do so that the outcome's different from that big shellacking that we got the last time?
First of all, recover, because you went through a hard battle against China. Justin Brownlee probably used a lot of his bullets, a lot of his ammo in the chamber. How ready is he gonna play? Will we see a same Justin Brownlee, or we're gonna see a different style? And of course, it's gonna come down, of course, can we stop Rondé Hollins Jefferson?
Yeah, right.
Well, it's definitely an exciting match tonight at 8 p.m.
Woo! Let's
Yes.
go! Let's
Thank
go!
you so much, Isaac. Let's go. We're all excited. All of the Filipino fans are excited. And after the break, we'll hear all about the UAAP Season 86 Courtside Stories. So stay tuned. You're watching The Game. Welcome back. You're still watching the game. Now, the UAAP Season 86 action is in full swing, and so are the stories from the courtside. And here to give us a glimpse at some of these courtside stories are, of course, the UAAP Season 86 correspondents, Jules, Ysrael reporting for NU, and Janna, Ehido reporting for Adamson. How are you? Welcome to the game. How are you
Welcome
feeling?
back and welcome
Welcome.
for the very first time.
Thank you so much, Boom and Lexi. It's so great.
How are you guys feeling? How has the season been treating you so far? And how are you adjusting and, talking to the players as well?
I guess for me, as a first-timer, it's so new, but at the same time, I'm very excited. I've been having so much fun learning alongside my correspondent sisters, but also getting to know my team. They're very makulit, and we match. We're compatible in that way.
Kulit din naman correspondents, ha? Hindi lang ang team, right, Janna? Now,
I
you're in
agree.
your second year, but there must be some new things also to feel, right?
Exactly, Boom. I've been seeing the same faces in the team, but I love meeting my rookies, especially some new additions to the coaches, to the team, and I love hearing new goals also from my players, not just their faces and everything, but I want to know what they want to achieve that they haven't yet last season, and it's also a new thing for me to encounter.
Kala ko same faces in production, same anchors, kala ko
Same
yun ang sabihin.
experience, same everything. But of course, merong mga iibang bagay like Cedric Manzano. For
Ooh, what
sure,
again?
you've met him before in season 85, and the commentators are explaining he is rebranding as the baby giant, baby whatever. Ano ba ang favorite niyang branding for him?
Ano ba ang tama?
Ano ba ang tama?
Yan ang tanong.
Knowing said, he's such a great player. Reliable, big for the team and for Coach Nash Rosella, like 6'5". And of course, people would say he's already a big man, big boy, baby monster. But when I talked to him recently, he mentioned that he's been hearing all of these nicknames from whatever. But he said baby boy will always be his favorite name. That nickname has always had this affinity with his family all the way in Masbate. But it has always stuck with him, and he wants to still be baby boy forever.
Forever. Forever. Oh, he did not play like a baby boy the last time out. He played like a
Exactly.
big boy. A lot of people actually thought that he was going to win best player, but I'm sure you're okay with Joe M winning the best player. But he did play so great, talking about baby boy Sedi.
Exactly.
Manzano. Okay, NU. Wow, how's
Yes.
this experience? You have also some characters on the team. Somebody we've had on the show many times who has been so entertaining to us.
Right. Yeah.
We're talking, of course, Steve Nash Enriquez. What is your story on Steve? What have you discovered, you personally?
Yes, actually, I got a lot of questions after the first game. Jules, why is his hair so long? Does he have plans to
Insecure
cut
ka,
it?
ganon?
Kind of. Hindi. And I was like, Nash, why? He said, during the pandemic, he didn't cut his hair. And the type niya, he likes it. And so because of that, he kept his locks, he kept his hair. And now it is his trademark. And he actually considers it a lucky charm. He said, suerte to. And I actually asked Nash, so when do you plan to cut your hair? Sabi niya, baka pag nag-champion.
Wow, what a
so,
great goal. Great
inaabangan
goal.
ko yan.
That's a
yeah.
great
So it's an
goal.
if-then statement.
That's a
If we
great goal.
champion, then maybe we'll
That's a
see
great goal.
some of those.
Do you think it's going to be a lucky charm for them going up against UP?
Definitely.
An exciting match tomorrow.
Yeah, and-
Oh, yes.
Yeah, for sure. I'm very excited.
Me too. I'm doing that game with you. But there also, before we even get to that, is the Ateneo Adamson game,
Oh my
Janna.
God.
Oh, yeah.
Montebon has been the talk. We were just talking about him even on the show last night here. What can you tell us about him from Matthew?
Matthew Montebon, his nickname was actually Matty. Back in San Francisco, but here his friends gave him the name Monty. And now we call him Monty Montebon. But you know what, again, touching from his San Francisco roots, his parents actually watched the game at 1 a.m. That's both games, that's Saturday, that's Wednesday, and of course, they're gonna be watching
Tomorrow.
still probably at the same time tomorrow, and he's getting used to that. But he's loving it here in the country so far.
That's family
That's
for
great.
you. That's how
Now,
it's
of course,
supposed
on
to
the
be.
NU side of things,
Yeah.
tomorrow going up against UP, an exciting match, of course. But then, do they have any sort of pre-game ritual? Or?
Of course. Actually, their pre-game ritual is something I really deeply respect because every night before a game, they all go to church together. They pray, they light candles, and then they also eat dinner together. And I just think that's such a nice way to bond. Like, as a team, they're friends first, and then they conquer the game the next day, headstrong.
And I hope they invite you for dinner. I mean,
Um,
they should bring you
that's
along.
gonna
You're part
happen
of the
soon.
team.
Yeah,
you're part of the
definitely.
team.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Speaking of your co-captains, there's a story about that too,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Tell us.
So Patrick Oy, our captain, and Steve Nash, they're our co-captain. They were both opponents in high school.
Okay.
And I asked Pat, I was like, how is it like? Did you adjust to, from being rivals to now being co-captains? And Pat said, wala naman, chill lang, like the transition was really nice. And, seeing them during practice, during the games, they're leading the team so well. It's a perfect balancing act of command and friendship. And I think that's what's making it work for NU right now.
Looks like it so
Right.
far.
And of
Yeah.
course, we're also curious on the Adamson side of things. What about Eli Ramos? I've heard you've got some stories for us about Eli Ramos.
Yeah, a lot of people know Eli with his brother, Gilas star Dwight. But Eli has already been in the country since 2019. And he told me 4 years is a long time. And of course, I asked Eli, how much did you grow in those 4 years? He told me he's matured. But of course, I asked, aside from maturity in basketball, he said it's overcoming the language barrier that was his biggest accomplishment. When I was talking to him, Joshua Yero and Matt Eralon, two native Bisaya speakers were with me, and they were saying, Eli, show Janna your Bisaya.
Yeah,
And he was
that's right.
able to speak like 3 Bisaya words, which I was so proud of. But of course, he said, I'm very happy to finally understand what his coaches are telling him in Tagalog. And, overcoming that language barrier, especially with his dynamic in the team, that's something he's proud of.
You should teach them. We're looking forward to that game tomorrow. Monty, Eli, and everybody else, Patrick and Nash and everybody else.
For
Good
sure.
luck to both of you tomorrow. I'll see you there.
Thanks,
And
Boom.
thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Of course. And after the break, we'll go inside the game with 7-time NBA All-Star Lamarcus Aldridge as he talks about his legendary career and a blockbuster trade that sent Damian Lillard to the Milwaukee Bucks. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Inside the Game. My name is Boom Gonzalez. It is my absolute honor to be chatting right now, straight from Australia. 7-time All-Star and now NBA legend Lamarcus Aldridge. Good day to you, Lamarcus. I mean, just to utter those words, NBA legend, I don't know how it strikes you now and how you take it, and have you really thought about it? And what do you think about being called now an NBA legend?
It's an honor for sure. I don't think about it because I don't really think about myself in that way. I feel like I had a good run, blessed to do things that I've done, but I definitely don't look at it that way. But I'm highly thankful, for those kind of things.
Right. One of the things that obviously I personally admire is that stroke of yours. It's just beautiful. I mean, so many times I've tried to emulate it myself. Back to the basket, pivot, face up, pull up. It's not looking as good as yours, obviously, but it always
what I always wondered about, okay, who did you idolize in the NBA, and who did you pattern your game? Or it can be two different individuals, I don't know, or maybe one. Can you tell us?
Yeah, so I think NBA fans will definitely see this. So I took three guys, and I wanted to take something from all three. So I took high release from Rasheed Wallace. So when I did my fadeaway, I had it up high. I took the fadeaway from KG. He's the infamous fadeaway guy. And then I took going to the middle to create the fadeaway from Tim Duncan. Tim loved to get to that right hand, loved to get to the middle, get to the basket. He was always hard to stop going to the middle. So I took that from Tim and I put, it all together. That's how I made my shot.
And Tim loved using the bank too. Every now and then you would use the bank too.
Yep.
I see the KG thing, little shimmy, fade away to the right hand, and then Rasheed, of course. I mean, how are you going to block that shot?
Figured if I took one thing from 3 Hall of Famers and I could master it, then I should be okay.
Well, I think you're okay. Close to 20 points a game in your career, and a ton of career highs and high-scoring games. So I think you were okay. But did you ever dream about being a guard yourself prior, of course, to your NBA career? And if you did, who do you think would you resemble if you did dream or fantasize about being a guard?
I did when I was younger. Probably won't believe it, but I used to be an amazing ball handler. Like, I had crazy good ball handling skills. I wanted to be like a Tracy McGrady type player where, you can handle the ball, you can go off the dribble, like Vince Carter, those guys who had the handle. And then, when you go to college, they kind of make you to, in what they want you to be. So I feel like slowly I kind of lost my ball handling skills, but I feel like I showed it every now and again in the NBA. I would bring it out every now and then, but I definitely had the guard mentality when I was younger. I was a great ball handler. I brought the ball up the floor. In 8th grade, we had no point guard, so I would bring it up the floor. I could definitely dribble well back then, but I'm still decent now, but not as good.
Oh, I bet. I'm not questioning that part. 7-time All-Star, multiple All-NBA selections, a ton of highlight games. Have you had time to think about, what are the things that really stood out in your career?
You're trying to make me get emotional on this thing, aren't you?
I'm sorry, man.
No, not yet. I don't think it's really hit me yet that, I'm done and to start doing the whole reflecting thing. I think I'm just kind of coasting right now and kind of, taking it day to day. It's always some quick moments that pop out that, I appreciate. Being in Portland and, becoming an all-star and, having that city embrace me and, becoming who I am as a player and a person in Portland was very important to me. And then being able to go home, be in Texas and be a part of that amazing franchise and be close to Austin and see my family and friends more. That stands out to me too because, I had always wondered and, kind of dreamed about playing for the Spurs because I'm a Texas guy. So those two moments right away stand out because they were very, very big moments in my life.
Okay, Lamarcus, you mentioned San Antonio. Obviously, you were engaged in a Twitter conversation about Victor Wembanyama and, being a skills coach or teaching him some things. If you had the chance, you would do it. What would you teach him? What would be the things that you would work on with an extreme talent like that, Wemby, if you had the chance?
Yeah, first, someone asked me, I'd say yes, but you don't need any help when you have Manu Ginobili and Tim Duncan, and Tony Brennan around there. Those guys are Hall of Famers. You got David Robinson hanging out around there too. So when you have winners and Hall of Famers hanging around, you don't need me. So it was a question I answered it, but I'm sure it won't happen. But with a guy that's that talented, for me, I would just simplify it first to give a base. What's your moves that you will want? What's your go-to moves? And let's master that. Let's work on that move. So whether it's the first quarter, whether it's the fourth quarter, 2 seconds to go, you at least have one move that you know you can get to, and you can score, and you know get a quality shot. And then from there, I would do a counter, and then after you get those two things down, I would just start to let him add more things that he likes to do. But I think for a guy that can do so much, I think simplifying it for him and like helping him get to his spots, and like I think that's going to make his game be easier.
Which made your game look easy and highly effective. Not easy to do. I'm a longtime teammate out of Portland, of course, and now joining another great big guy in Giannis Antetokounmpo with the Milwaukee Bucks from Portland. Your initial thoughts on that trade, and what would you want to say?
Happy for him. Well deserved. He's very, very loyal and gave that city and that organization everything he could. But as you know, as you get older and your window of your prime, not saying being good, but of your prime starts to close, then you want a chance to win it, to win it all. So I'm happy they did right by him, and they sent him to a great place with a great player, and I feel like they have a chance to really compete for the championship. And I feel like it's a win-win. They got picks, and and he got to go where he can actually have a chance to win it all. Great player, great guy. So I'm definitely happy for him. He's earned it, and I think he deserves a real chance to win.
Lamarcus, this was a pleasure, albeit short, but I hope I get another opportunity to really do a deep dive in your career and all the other things that you do. We wish you luck in this next phase of your life, and hopefully you won't stay away from the NBA too long in some form or another. I really appreciate the time.
Thank you.
All right, now that was Lamarcus Aldridge, and thank you for joining us. I am Lexi Rodriguez.
Don't forget to catch us weeknights here on One News and on the Pilipinas Live app, where you can watch us live and our past episodes on demand for just 149 pesos a month. Available for download on Google Play or the App Store. I'm Boom Gonzalez. Happy weekend! And this has been The Game. Go Gilas!